We are back at the build site after a month-long break. We're gonna work on finishing up the roof raise. We're gonna put the sheet metal on. First, before the sheet metal, we're gonna put some support, some square tubing on the front and the back of the bus to support the roof and the sheet metal. And then we're gonna rivet the sheet metal after we finish welding all the head channels. Now I'm going to use one of these wire wheels for the angle grinder to take off the old sealant where the rivets are on the bus, to clean all that up. So I've taken already some off on these sides, and I'll show you how to take this old sealant off here with this wire wheel. As you can see, it's very quick, cleans it up, and then I can add some primer on there, and then we can add new sheet metal and rivet there. I'm painting the second coat of a rust inhibiting primer, because I exposed the sheet metal when I removed all the sealant there. I exposed the sheet metal, so I wanted to put this primer to protect it from rusting. Right now I'm making the support frame to add to the front of the bus above the windshield, and this is how it's just a mock-up of it. I have not tack welded or placed everything exactly where it will be. I just wanted to record it and show you. So these two pieces, this one and this one, those are the vertical pieces that will go above the windshield all the way to the roof, to the hat channel that is in the roof, and they'll get welded on top and bottom. And then we have this kind of these two 3.5-inch spacers to push out this. This one is a horizontal bar that will be on the sheet metal, so where the rivets are on the sheet metal. So where two pieces of sheet metal, the rivets will go through them, and then through this square tubing, this horizontal piece that goes across. And then of course in the corners the sheet metal curves, but I will not have any support there. I don't think it's needed. And this piece over here, that is for the side emergency door. I cut a notch out here to take into account this lip on the head channel, so when I put this piece across, it will be flush. It will be flush with the back of the head channel, like this. Like that, and it will get welded there, and then we'll probably add another piece right here in the middle, and over here above the door, main entrance door, we're adding two cross pieces, one here and one over here, and on this one I also cut a little lip so it can be flush with the head channels. So it's gonna go right behind the. It's gonna go right behind the sheet metal there where the rivets all are, because the sheet metal will get riveted into this square tubing here. Okay, something like that. Right there. In there. This one, I'll just jam it in there and weld it here, but that one is not really necessary. That was the existing cross piece here, and the other existing one is down here. because I cut it wrong. So, but yeah, that's looking good there. Welding of the head channels complete, and as well as square tubing that I added. So I wanted to show you guys. I tack welded everything, and then I hired a professional welder who they just left an hour ago. There we go. So I added this cross piece and then another one over there, and then made this frame above the windshield. Two vertical pieces, and they are welded on here and on here, and they go up and they're welded to the hatch channels of the bus, and then they each have a little cross piece here to connect this horizontal piece. I can take these clamps on off. So now I can add the sheet metal and then rivet it all to the square tubing here. And this is solid. That's going to support the roof as well as the sheet metal, so it doesn't flap. I'm going to rivet it down there and then rivet up here. Above the entrance, I added one cross piece here and then another one on the other side, and this is the existing one. That's where I made a mistake. I didn't cut it right, so this went up. This piece was supposed to stay down here, but I cut it wrong, so it's fine. I didn't even need to add another piece down here. I have this up here, and then this is existing, and that's holding well. And then all these head channels were welded all around there. Above the side emergency or handicap door, I added this cross piece here to substitute the one that I lifted up, because this one went with the roof. And then I just added one vertical piece here to connect the two. And then the back is done slightly different than the front above the windshield. I couldn't, if I welded a piece, vertical piece here to this piece and brought it up, it wouldn't be touching the head channel. The head channel is further out in. So I just welded it to the horizontal piece. I tack welded it, and the professional welder actually welded it. And then I had a cross piece up there to connect the vertical piece with the head channel. I have two of those. Here's how it looks. And there we go. So it's going to support this sheet metal when I add the sheet metal and I rivet here. It's going to hold it well. There we go. You know, everything is welded well. And tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, we're going to start putting the sheet metal on, filling all these gaps, and then continue on to the next project for the bus. Wanted to add the square tubing that we added here. It's a 14 gauge 1.5 by 1.5 inch, which matches the head channels. I'm coating the head channels with this rust preventing primer. I'm gonna do 2 coats because these head channels, they already started having some surface rust. So I want to protect that. This is the one I'm using, high performance rusty metal primer. It's 769402 Rust-Oleum brand. Here are the head channels where I put the primer on. I put mostly just on the outside parts where the sheet metal is gonna go, and for the inside I can do that later on. I did put on this because rivets are gonna go there, so I just wanted to kind of protect it a little bit. I mean, even if you don't put them on, if you don't put the primer on, it's gonna take a long time for it to rust out so badly that it's, you know, structurally not safe, but I still wanted to do some protection there. During the process of removing the rivets, this sheet metal kind of bent, it's a little bit wavy, so I'm using a hammer to straighten it out as much as I can. Some of the existing rivet holes are protruding out, the metal is protruding out, so for some of them I'm able to use a hammer to hammer it flat. For others, I just use the grinder to make it all flat and flush. And now I'm using this automotive Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler and sandable primer to spray it on the sheet metal where the rivets are gonna go, and new sheet metal. Second coat. Here is how it looks now with the primer around the rivet holes. If I put the sheet metal on and rivet it, then I won't be able to put the primer around those holes. So I'm doing the primer first to protect it from rusting over time. And once I put the sheet metal and the rivets, we're gonna, maybe prime the rivets as well, get them ready for painting, and then later on when we do the whole bus painting, we'll paint it all over.